Yo, what's good, YouTube? It's your boy MG Nas, and I'm back again with another video. And today, we got the 2020 NFL Week 8 Power Rankings. So before we get into this, make sure I hit the like button if you enjoyed the content. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, because we are 30 away from 200, which is our next goal. So make sure I hit the subscribe button and turn on the post notification bell. That way you don't miss any content. And let's get right into this video. We got the Week 8 Power Rankings. We are halfway through the season. We finished the first half of the season. Now let's move on to the second half of the season. Let's go. So, the number one team in the NFL for Week 8 is the Pittsburgh Steelers, after getting a big win over the Tennessee Titans. I mean, what else can I say? They play consistent football. Their defense played exceptionally well. Versus Derrick Henry. Probably the best defense Derrick Henry has faced all year. Show consistency, offense, defense, the whole thing. James Conner has some good plays in the game. You always good to see that, because knowing James Conner, he always gets injured. But James Conner has some good plays. Deontay Johnson really had a good game. So the Steelers really our offense distributing the ball well. Eric Ebron had a good game. And like I said, the defense did the best that they could against Derrick Henry. They deserve to be the number one team. They're the only undefeated team left in the NFL. The Pittsburgh Steelers balling out this year. But we got the number two team, and that's the Kansas City Chiefs. Same old Chiefs dominating their opponent. And they faced the Denver Broncos, beat them. Le'Veon Bell's debut wasn't too bad. He had 5.5 yards per carry, which is good. That's a good, consistent carry rate for a running back. Like I said, same old Chiefs dominating their opponent. Le'Veon Bell had a solid debut, and we'll see if the Chiefs can take that number one spot back. Because they really, once they lost it, they've been climbing back up in the rankings. But number 3, we got the Seattle Seahawks. Man, what a game against the Arizona Cardinals. And if you did not know, I was live for that game. I did a live play-by-play of the Seahawks and Cardinals game. And Seattle, they thought they had the win. DK Metcalf, but they got called back for holding. Russell Wilson throws an interception to Isaiah Simmons, the first-round pick for the Cardinals. And then all was over. Man, what a great game, but a tough loss for Seattle. Arizona, Kyler Murray had a great game. DeAndre Hopkins made some plays. Christian Kirk had a really productive game. So you love to see that from Arizona, but Seattle took a tough loss, but they're still a top 3 team. Number 4, you got the Baltimore Ravens, man. The Ravens on a bye week, but they're still a top 4 team. Second place in their division, despite that they're 5-1 or 4-1. One of those. But yeah, man, the Ravens, man, playing good, consistent football. Well-deserved bye week. Yeah, man, they're number 4. Number 5, you got the Green Bay Packers. They definitely bounced back. Devontae Adams, man, 200 yards on their head. I know it's the Houston Texans, but still, Devontae Adams, you didn't have to do that. I mean, I understand. Y'all lost your last game. The offense didn't play well, but 200? I think Aaron Rodgers only had like 280 yards, and 200 of those went to Devontae Adams. What a game from the Green Bay Packers offense. The defense did what they had to do, and that's how that game went. Number 6, you got the Tennessee Titans. After suffering a tough loss to the Steelers, coming by way of a field goal of Steven Gostkowski, they really looked to bounce back this week. Number 6 team got bounced out of the top 5, and it's going to be interesting to see how they bounce back and try to climb back into that top 5 position, because they were really on a roll. Playing 3 games in the span of 13 days is really not easy to do, especially playing in the context for the NFL. It was a matter of time before they took their first L, but the Titans are still the number 6 team. Number 7, we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and man, is this team really starting to click and get on the roll. 2 back-to-back wins against the Packers and against the Raiders. Now, I know it's the Raiders, but you also got to put into the fact that the Raiders beat the Chiefs. They get the Chiefs their only loss. So they beat the Raiders, who Raiders are a good team this year. They beat Green Bay, so that's really big for them. Number 8, we got the Buffalo Bills, man. The Bills, big win. Not a big win. Close win actually against the New York Jets. And it's all right. We're gonna move on to number 9, the Arizona Cardinals. Number 9. What a great win versus the Seahawks. Now I know you're saying number 9. They could arguably be over the Bills, but I think the Bills are the slightly better team. The Cardinals, like I said, they can be over the Bills, but like I said, I think the Bills are a little bit of a slightly better team. Great performance on Sunday Night Football, though. The Cardinals definitely proved again why they are one of the scariest teams in the NFL, because they're competing with teams like Russell Wilson and the Seahawks. They can compete with all these high-class teams. That is the best team in their division, arguably the best team in the NFC, and they upset them. So, big win from Arizona, man. Big upset, and good win for them. Number 10, you got another NFC West contender, the LA Rams. The Rams coming off of a win against the Chicago Bears. Well-needed win right there. I didn't even think they'd win that game, but they did single-handedly. Offense played well, defense played well, special teams. The whole phase of football, they played well every spot of the game. Jared Goff had a pretty good game. Jalen Ramsey made a nice tackle on the 4th down. The Bears just really messed up that game, but the Rams moved to number 10, as they are still a top 10 team. Took a couple losses, but bounced back against the Bears. Number 11, you got the New Orleans Saints. Now, they could arguably over the Rams or under. It doesn't matter how you really put them, but, a shootout versus Teddy Bridgewater and the Panthers. So, really, they almost lost to the Panthers. And, even though they won, that's concerning. You almost lose to the Chargers, who only have 2 wins on the year. You almost lose to the Panthers. That's a little bit concerning. Why aren't you? Last year's Saints would have blown these teams out. So it's kind of interesting, how the Saints move on and how they play these better teams. And I'm really interested and ready to see that second matchup against the Bucs. But we're gonna see Saints at number 11. I feel like that's where they deserve to be. Number 12, you have the Chicago Bears. When the Bears started rising, they started getting more respect of the league. They really fell down against the LA Rams. Nick Foles getting pressured in his face non-stop, constantly not being able to get the ball out. Then Nick Foles, after the game, a couple days later, after the game said, after Matt Nagy calls plays, I already know that I'm not going to have time to throw the ball and the plays aren't going to work. Just a whole mess now in the Chicago Bears, when a week ago they were moving fine and they were playing fine. But it's interesting, man, because in that Tampa Bay Buccaneers game, the game that they won and the game that they started catching the eyes of a lot of people in NFL, Nick Foles kind of not argue with Matt Nagy, but, he can tell he was a little frustrated at Matt Nagy. He told him something, and that's when the Bears started really getting it going. So Nick Foles, he's starting to voice his opinions, and Matt Nagy is really getting called out by his players, and we're going to see what happens in that situation in Chicago, because it's a really interesting situation how a player like Nick Foles, who, nice guy, usually stays quiet, now he's out calling out the coach. So it's interesting. But number 13, you got the Indianapolis Colts. Top 5 defense in the league. Their running game is getting better and better by the week. Phillip Rivers is doing, a serviceable job. They're coming off of a bye week, rejuvenated, rejuiced, 4-2 team, right there in the midst of the playoff race. So, the Colts, it's really not like an underdog, but really a quiet team to look out for. Like I said, they're 4-2 coming off of the bye. It's gonna be really interesting to see how they finish off the season, because 4-2 right now. They keep this up, winning games consistently, they can sneak a playoff spot in. And I feel like teams been forgetting about the Colts, but they are number 13 right now, right behind the Bears. Number 14, the Cleveland Browns, coming off of a great game from Baker Mayfield. The game-winning touchdown, that pass was just right on the money. The Browns, what a big win right there. It's really interesting to see how they move without old BJ. It's not like they were using him correctly and they were using him that much anyways. But it's still going to be interesting nonetheless. So we're going to see what the Browns do without OBJ. But big win, even though it was against the Bengals, it still was an entertaining game. Number 15, last but not least for this video, you have the San Francisco 49ers. They're looking to get their swagger back, coming off 2 straight wins after losing to the Eagles and Dolphins. Coming off of a win against the Rams, and then following that up with a win against the Patriots. They really shut Cam Newton down. The Patriots, they a little Belichick over there. He usually be there to fix problems, but the Niners said The Niners said they were too big of a problem to fix, and then I believe it was Jeff Wilson, their third string running back with 3 touchdowns, and then he got injured. Because, that's how 2020 goes with injuries and all that stuff. But the 49ers at 15, the last team that will be featured in the Power Rankings video. I may start doing top 20 Power Rankings because these videos seem to go by a little quick. So I wouldn't mind doing longer videos where I do top 20 Power Rankings. Y'all let me know in the comments. Subscribe to the channel because we are 30 away from 200, currently at 170. Turn on the post notification bell so that way you don't miss any content. The tour continues. It's your boy MG Nas, and I'm out. Peace.